obviously the news broke out. Obviously, Berlanga hopped on it post fight press conference. He said, "Man, I want Canelo." I think they even mentioned Morel, and he said no. He said he wasn't interested. He said he's looking at bigger fights like Canelo. Chris, nobody wants to fight Morel. David Benavidez, every time they mention his name, he says no. Berlanga saying no. Jaime Munguia saying no. Obviously, we expect Canelo to say no because that's probably the guy that you made the least amount of money against, right? But all these guys, they're trying to prove themselves, and they hear the last name Morel, and they all say no, Chris.
Yeah, and again, it's that high risk, dangerous fight, little reward, just because a lot of people don't know who Morel is in the mainstream. But he's a dangerous guy. He's built with a lot of tangibles that make him very dangerous. Young, tall, rangy, strong. Again, very athletic kind of fighter. And I'm not saying that these guys can't beat him, but I think they also know that he has a good chance to beat them as well. So it's yeah, no one's gonna call Morel's name, and he's just gonna have to, you know, fight his way to the top, keep breaking these guys down, go up the ranks. Of course, I think he's got the time to move on up, but yeah, I don't see any of the guys, Benavides, the Canelos, rushing to fight a guy like Morel.
Hey, he might be the most voted fighter today, Chris. Like I've never heard so many people say no to a guy, to any guy really. When they say his name, there's oh no, they all have different reasons why they don't want to fight. But Morel, he only has, I believe, 11 fights. Cuban fighter. Obviously, they typically have a ton of amateur experience. He doesn't really have a name on his resume either, but he is looking dangerous. He's a southpaw. He's a good boxer, good puncher. So as of now, everybody's saying no to Morel. But things get interesting now because Canelo parting ways with PVC. It seems like he's going to be working back with Eddie Hearn, back with the Zone, back with possibly even Oscar De La Hoya if they make that Munguia fight happen, which, rumors start spreading, Chris, like wildfire. That's the one they're saying, right? That's set for May, but we'll wait and see. They seem to surprise us, in the past, the Canelo team. So we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, I think I share the same sentiment as you. I was surprised that they parted ways, but at the same time, you hear all these rumors of PBC struggling financially. They're now on Amazon. They're saying that they're not even streaming these press conferences for their upcoming fight. It's March 30th, Chris. It's in a month when we're getting Tim Zhu, Keith Thurman, and also Rolly Romero against Pitbull Cruz. Man, I haven't heard too much about it. I think that's a very good event on paper. I think Sebastian Fundora is on it too, if I remember correctly. There's some names on there, and I haven't heard much about it, but sticking to the Canelo and PVC topic, yeah, it was surprising to me that it happened so quickly. They still had 2 fights left on the table, but not surprised because of all the rumors of, you hear it all the time. PVC is struggling financially.
Yeah. This takes me to my next question, Gio, and it's the narrative that's going on in boxing right now with Canelo. In your opinion, did he duck David Benavidez by pulling out of this deal?
Uh, I don't know, man. That's what everybody's saying. Of course, that's what they're gonna say. But I think I don't think Canelo will be a guy to just back out of any deals. I think when him and the Zone split, they promised him a ton of money, and then they couldn't come up with it. It seems like it's the same case here. I don't know if they ended up mad at each other or whatever. But Canelo, if he's fighting on your network with your company, you got to pay the man. You know how it goes, Chris. This guy's been making money for a long time. So if the business wasn't right, then it doesn't make sense to stay. But Eddie Hearn said that he wouldn't mind trying to make the Benavidez fight. So I don't think it's a foregone. I don't think the fight is gone if he moves on from PBC. I think there's still other ways to make it happen.
Yeah. And again, Gio, a lot of people thought that, people heard about this deal. It was a 3-fight deal. So I think a lot of people expected, it to be in writing, in ink, 3 fights with PBC. But I think we're starting to realize that Canelo is taking the Mikey Garcia approach. One fight deals, man. I think that was my biggest takeaway. I was like, okay, there was talk of 3 fight deals, but it really was a fight to fight. And if you don't deliver on that guarantee, which is usually a 35 million for a guy like Canelo, if they can't deliver on that, he's not going to fight these guys. So I know it's tougher now, but a guy like Canelo could still potentially face a guy like David Benavides if other entities, put that money in if David were to leave PBC. So it's not out of the question. But the guys like Canelo, they're not. When you hear these 3 fight deals, it's usually a fight to fight kind of deal.
Hey, look, and everybody's leaving PBC right now, Chris. I think a lot of guys are loyal to Al Heyman. Leo Santa Cruz even named his son Al after Al Heyman. That's his godfather. That's the rumor, right? When somebody overpays you, of course you're going to have a lot of loyalty toward them, Chris. Like, Al Heyman has been overpaying guys since the beginning of time. No one's going to talk bad about him. They're making millions to fight low-level opposition. It makes sense to stick with them and be loyal, but a lot of guys are leaving right now, and we'll get into that too. Suriel Matias just left. He signed with Matchroom. There's a ton of other names that we're going to go over, but, I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of guys start leaving PBC. A lot of guys are jumping ship to DAZN. DAZN is the happiest right now, Chris. Let me tell you this. They're the happiest out of all of them because, look, obviously, it looks like Canelo's going to work with them again, right? That's huge for them. It was a huge loss, in my opinion, when he left. Like I said, Suriel Matias just signed with Eddie Hearn. The rumor that I was just reading today is Elvis Rodriguez is going to leave PBC to go with Matchroom and possibly set up that Matias fight, that matchup. Oscar is signing all the guys at 140. Berlanga and or Munguia might be getting that Canelo fight. And then rumors just popped up of Bam Rodriguez against Gallo Estrada. So DAZN is super happy right now, Chris.